You're watching your local team play. The scoreline flashes across the screen. 59-1. You blink, you laugh, you think no ways. That can't be real, but it was. In 2022, South African football made global headlines. Not because there was some amazing victory or outstanding talent, but for one of the most ridiculous and embarrassing match-fixing scandals ever recorded. This is the story of when the beautiful game got ugly and what it says about corruption, power, and trust in South African sports. So it all started in the South African ABC Motsepe League. That's the third tier semi-professional division, just below the national first division. In 2022, two teams, Matiasi FC and the Nsami Mighty Birds, were both competing for promotion. Then came the match that made history. Matiasi beat Mighty Birds 59-1, but here's the kicker. 41 of those goals were own goals. Yes, players literally kicked the ball into their own net. And just when you thought it couldn't get worse, another match in the same division ended 33-1 with similar own goal chaos. Something was obviously off. An investigation by the South African Football Association, also known as SAFA, confirmed it. Both of the teams were deliberately trying to manipulate results to ensure their promotion to a higher division. When the footage and match sheets came out, it read like a bad comedy script, okay? Players scoring in their own goals on purpose, referees looking the other way, coaches shouting fake instructions. SAFA stepped in fast, okay, suspending the match officials and holding emergency hearings. By 2022, Matiasi FC, Nsami Mighty Birds, and two other teams were banned for life from all football activities, and the match officials were banned for up to 5 years. But behind the ridiculousness was actually a very serious issue. I'm talking about the issue of credibility within the South African sport. If the lower league games were being fixed, what about the higher levels? And how did it get this bad? So the thing is, that 59-1 game wasn't an isolated joke. But South African sport has a long, messy relationship with corruption. In 2024, SAFA President Dani Jordan faced allegations of fraud and misconduct tied to irregular spending within the association. Back in 2015, South Africa's successful 2010 FIFA World Cup bid was shadowed by claims of bribes that were paid to secure votes, a story that FIFA itself never fully cleared up. And outside of the game, there have been doping scandals, questionable selections, and sports funds that mysteriously vanish before they reach the athletes that they're meant to support. So when fans saw these absurd scorelines, it wasn't just funny, it was actually painful, because it showed how the culture of fixing cheating and cutting corners had seeped into something we all grew up loving. You see, sport in South Africa isn't just a game. It forms part of the identity of South Africa, but it can also serve as an escape. It's where we find unity when politics, poverty, and pain divide us. But when people start believing that even our games are rigged, that the results don't really mean anything, we lose something deeper than trophies. We lose trust. The match-fixing scandal wasn't about money alone. It was also about integrity and what happens when it disappears from even the smallest corners of our society. So when the next viral scoreline pops up or the next sports official faces corruption charges, we'll remember it didn't start here. It started the day people stopped playing to win and started playing the system. Because when the game is rigged and no one knows who's really scoring, we've got to stop and ask, wait, what happened?